Games Corner is a unique console-based gaming experience with 3D and LED screens, all within a comfortable atmosphere. Become a Games Corner franchisee now and bring this one-of-a-kind opportunity to your location. For more information, visit us at gamescorner.com.
Hi everyone, this is Amir Karimni and welcome to Be Efficient TV. The mission of this web TV show is to boost the efficiency of your business and life through tips and tricks from leading experts. And today I have with me Peter Voogd. He is the author of the international bestseller 6 Months to Six Figures and the founder of the prestigious Game Changers Academy. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here. And as always, I'm energized, ready to give as much value as possible.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. What's your background and how and when you decided to become an entrepreneur?
So my background is I've been an entrepreneur and I've been in sales and had to make money based on my hustle since I was 15. What really sparked it for me was I was 15 years old and I was working for my dad doing construction. I could not stand doing hard labor and trading time for money. Just something inside me, I always got frustrated, and no matter how hard I worked, I got the same pay. So I started selling things on eBay, and one day my friend was just beat up and burnt out from working 8 hours shoveling sand up a hill for my dad. And I told my dad, I'm like, I gotta go, I can't do this right now. And he knew I wanted to go check my eBay and do other stuff. He knew I didn't like hard labor, but anyways, I checked my eBay and I made $91 that day. And my friend made 63 working 8 hours. And I was confused. I'm 15 and I'm like, how did I just make $90 and he made 60 and I didn't work and he worked 8 hours? And I realized I got paid for the courage to think differently and take risks. So that was my first taste and I never looked back ever since. And another incident, by the way, was I was a little bit older and I started working at a hourly valeting cars at a casino because my friends did it. And I remember the feeling I had where no matter how much I did, how much value I added, how many extra value I gave to the casino, I got paid the same. So I lasted about 2 months and that was the last of me ever having a normal job. And since then I've been an entrepreneur. I've started a couple 7-figure businesses. I got into sales as well at a young age and worked my way up there and built a sales team. And now I'm just traveling, loving what I'm doing, and helping millennials and entrepreneurs really thrive and live their best life.
As an entrepreneur, you found yourself like broke, stressed at the age of 22. Then you turned that around within 6 months. How did you do that?
Good question. So really broke. Broke as in I couldn't get food from the drive-thru. I don't know if you might not have ever been there, but I'm sure people have that are listening have. I didn't have enough money to go to the drive-thru. I was stressed out. I was discouraged. I felt like I let people down. So the first step, and I didn't know the steps then, by the way, but now I know the steps because I look back and I've analyzed what I did and I've done it in multiple industries now and I've taught it to other people. So let's just dive right in and you can kind of stop me if you have questions. So the first step was absolute clarity. You have to have a definite reason why you want to get out of what you're doing or why you want to actually make money. And all the times before I was making excuses, I was blaming the economy, I was blaming my experience, I was blaming my company, and it wasn't getting me anywhere. So before you can change your reality, you have to deal in reality and understand where you are. So I got absolute clarity that I didn't want to live like this and I wanted to become successful. And when I say I sold myself, I mean I cut out every other alternative. I got clear on who I was, who I wasn't, and who I needed on my team to help me get to that next level. So I reverse engineered and I thought about what is my ideal outcome that I want for the next 6 months? Well, I want 6 figures because that just sounds nice and it was something that would get me out of my financial troubles and get me out of debt. And that's the first step. I think people need to get clear on exactly what they want and who they need on their team, right? And most people don't get clear.
So number one, start with why.
Yeah, absolute clarity. Well, you got to get clear, get all the noise out of your head, and get everything on a one-page plan. So for me, I put everything on a one-page planner, and I even have it, I had it everywhere. I laminate it, and I still do it. I put my vision, my ideal vision up top. Then I put my values of what's important to me, financial freedom, impact, legacy, my family. And then I put my top 5 goals for the next 6 months. Okay, I put my top 5 goals of what I really wanted to achieve. And I didn't know they were possible. I just put them down. Right below that, which is where the power comes, is my compelling reasons. I had my top 5 reasons that drove me, because reasons come first, results come second. You have to write down 20 or 30 reasons to get really to the top 5, because most of the reasons are BS. They're garbage. Maybe they're material things. If people that are listening or watching are sleeping in, they don't have strong enough reasons. They need to re-clarify what the hell they're doing, because they're not motivated because they don't have strong reasons. So I finally got down reasons of why I wanted to achieve those 6-month goals. And the reasons gave me the fuel to push past the challenges. Right under that, I wrote down what are my most important 2 skills I need to develop to reach those 6-month goals. So that's the first step, is I got absolutely clear on what I wanted and what I didn't want and what I was willing to give up. Step 2 is where...
Sorry,
go ahead.
to interrupt you. Like, how about the people who don't know the right thing, or they don't know what they want? It's just they write more things and then they they narrow it down to 6 or to 10, or they just keep shifting the target every 6 months and adjust.
Are you talking about reasons? Are you talking about reasons or an actual end result?
Both. So like purpose. Some people don't know their
in.
purpose. They don't know what they want. They don't know financial freedom exists, or something called financial freedom exists.
Yep. So this is where part 2 comes in. By the way, in my book, which I have right here, I give them the steps on exactly how to figure that out, where they can email the 10 people around them that know them best and ask what their strengths are, what they feel like they're best at. And you have to really soul search and dig deep and ask yourselves the right questions. Like, what would keep you fascinated and engaged the next 6 months? Who in the industry is doing what you want to do? Maybe it sounds fun. Maybe they're traveling and you like to travel. Maybe they're motivational speakers and you want to do that. So you just have to somewhat know what your passion is and what your strong skill is, right? So whatever you've gotten results in the past, go with that. But here's step 2. You have to shift your circle of influence immediately. So for me, I was dead broke. You can't have clarity and have no guidelines or vision or strategy, because then you're going to have clarity but still be broke, right? So I wrote down a list of the top 5 people in my company that were getting the results that I wanted to get, okay? And I reached out to them consistently, and I was determined. So some of them didn't respond, but I just reached out and said, hey, I'd love to get mentored by you. Do you have some time for questions? I need your help. So I wrote down a list of the top 5. So everyone on the call, on the video needs to figure out what industry they want to go in. If they're not sure, I would reach out to people who are playing the game at a higher level than them to ask them how they figured it out. People try to figure everything out on their own and they bang their head against the wall. It's too tough. You got to have other people help you cut your learning curve in half. So I shifted my influence and I really paid attention to who I was around, because who you associate with is who you become. If you hang out with 5 millionaires, you're going to eventually be the 6th millionaire. You've heard that, right? You hang out with 5 intelligent people, you will find a way to be the 6th intelligent person. You hang out with 5 idiots, what do you think is going to happen, right? You're going to be like one of them. So I was hanging out with a bunch of average people. Nothing wrong with them. They were good people, but they didn't have results. They were victims instead of leaders, and they were okay with mediocrity, and I wasn't. So I had to elevate my circle of influence, and I had to make a list of my top 5 growth friends and my top 5 maintenance friends. And I started lowering the time I spent with my maintenance friends, and I started increasing the time I spent with the people that challenged me and held me to higher standards. Because you can either hang out with people that hold you accountable or let you off the hook. And that's really it. So that's step 2. You have questions on that?
What did you do to network and find those people, the right people?
Yeah, so first, luckily I was within a company that had people that were playing the game at a higher level. So I literally just reached out to them on Facebook. I got their numbers from the company. I would see them at conferences and just be relentless on reaching out. So these days, I've got a hold of a lot of 7, 8, 9-figure earners just from Twitter or LinkedIn. These days, there's no barriers, right? There's no barriers. So you can get a hold of people on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and I give a specific email in here that I sent to all the top people that they responded with. So I gave the email that I used. But there's networking groups. We have a Game Changers Academy that has a lot of other top people that are actually achieving big goals. There is YEC, which is a Young Entrepreneur Council. There's meetup groups. So it's just figuring out what's relevant to you and figuring out the local places in your area. And then if you have to go online, just type into Google, make Google your best friend, best places to network with blank type of entrepreneurs. And what I've found is if people want it bad enough and they see the importance of networking, they'll find a way and they'll be resourceful. So I don't need to tell people every step. If they want it bad enough, they will find a way to read the books they need to read or to go to the networking events they need to go to as well. So there's endless possibilities. I just chose one in my company because that's what I wanted to master, if that makes sense.
Step 3.
So step 3. Now, by the way, with step 3 and 2, one of the biggest things that it helps me with is mastery. I'm not sure if you read the book or not. I'm guessing you have.
Robert Greene?
You've studied what I've done. What number 2 and 3 does is it focuses you on mastery versus overload. The biggest issue I think entrepreneurs have is there's so much information out there, right? There's podcasts, there's audios, videos, books, seminars, masterminds, and there's so much information in their head, you're overwhelmed and you take no action. So what number 2 does when you have a mentor and you shift your circle of influence, it gives you clarity on exactly what to study and what skills to master. Number 3 is one of the ones that made the biggest difference for me, and it's increasing your confidence account. Everybody has inside them a confidence account, and based on all their accomplishments, the money they have right now, their past experiences, their future success is based on that account. And here's the scary thing. You're either helping or hurting your confidence at every moment. You're never keeping it even. So every choice you make makes you. For you this morning, you wake up early and you hustle and you write your goals down, or you sleep in, right? Or people can eat that salad or they can eat the cheeseburger. Yes, what feels good in the moment usually kills your future self. So people have to figure out how to increase their confidence, because when you increase your confidence, everything else follows. And if you don't have confidence, you will always find a way to lose. So a couple of my favorite ways to increase confidence I'll explain with you, but let me ask you this. Do you ever get people that want to transition out of their 9-to-5 and become entrepreneurs?
Definitely.
How many times, like in the last year, how many people, or how many times do you get that a week?
Most employees that you meet, they want to do it, but they don't take action to do it. So the problem is the action. They live in the fear. That's why you see 99% of people are employees and less than maybe 1% as entrepreneurs who took the risk to take action and take the step to transition from employee to entrepreneur.
And I've dedicated my life to figuring out why and how to help these people. So here's why they don't take the jump and they don't take action. Because they have no certainty. That's it. Why they have a 9-to-5 job where someone else tells them what they're worth and when they can go to the bathroom and when they can leave is because it's certainty that they're going to get a paycheck. But in the new economy, you have to create your own certainty. The only certainty, because people are losing jobs left and right, that certainty they had is gone because the company closed or they got rid of employees or whatever, or they're being replaced by robots, which will happen in 10 years, which is scary, right? If your job's easily replaceable, you better develop another skill. But the reality is there's that certainty that you're getting paid. But these days, the only certainty you want to have is the certainty in yourself and your ability to make things happen. So
the only way to do that is to dive into the uncertainty. So you have to take risks.
Exactly. And let me give you the ways to increase your certainty that I've figured out that were the best for me and a lot of people I've helped, and that I've interviewed and surveyed and been around. I just spoke in Vegas to almost 1,000 people, and a lot of them had the same issue. So there's 3 really big ways to increase your certainty when it comes to entrepreneurship. 1, do your due diligence. What does that mean? Study, learn about, read, make sure you're doing all the research you can on the industry you want to go in, because the more you research it, the more possibility you see. Would you agree?
Agreed. But how you spoke about eliminating the noise, like when they should know that it's enough to study more or read more, and how do you schedule, let's say, do you use scheduling to eliminate noise, to take more action? What do you do yourself to eliminate action and eliminate noise and take more action?
Yep, good question. So what I do is, first, I have the 1-page productivity plan, and that tells me exactly what my top 5 goals are, and it tells me what 1 or 2 skills I need to master. So I only am focused on everything I read, listen to, talk about is based on those skills. So the first step starts with
5 goals within a year or within
6 months. Everything I do is 6 months, because in a year, customers change, trends change, you change. A lot of people that set a year goal after like 9 months are like, shit, what the hell is my goal again? Damn, can't remember. It's been like 9 months, right? So you have to figure out ideally what you want and then only focus on things that are relevant to that. Say no to everything else. Say no to every other book that's not relevant, and say no to the podcast that's not relevant, that's not helping your mental toughness, if that's what you want to focus on. But then the key is every single day I study in the morning and I get intentional with my day. So I do my morning routine and I start 60 minutes every morning. I do the toughest task and the most important work first. I have a 10 to 15 minute transition trigger where I watch a video on YouTube or I go for a jog or I do something unrelated, and then I get right back in the state of mind and I do my next toughest task for 60 to 90 minutes. So I always get my toughest tasks done first. That gets me focused. It gets me more certainty to where I know I'm on the right track. So people just need to get rid of all the stuff that doesn't matter and focus on mastery and start small. A lot of things that you study, you need to study it, take action on it, go back, take notes, and don't move on till you get results in that area, and then you can move on to the next thing. So what you asked is, how do you know when to move on? When you get results, right? So that's the biggest key is people are so addicted to information, but they need to be addicted to execution and implementation, right? So that's really how it was, how the confidence comes is doing your research and due diligence the right way. Here's the second way to increase your certainty. Hang out with other people that have certainty that are already making it happen. So if I want to be an entrepreneur and I'm hanging with a bunch of employees, what do you think my mindset's going to be?
An employee mindset.
Oh shit, I don't know if I could be an entrepreneur. All these people say it's too risky. Yeah, of course they say it's too risky. That's why they're making $10 an hour. Nothing wrong with that. They're good people, but we're talking about people that want to be game changers and lead their own lives and build their own legacies, right? And then the third thing is preparation. So you got to research and do your due diligence. You got to be around people that already have certainty, and you have to prepare like you're going into war. The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. So preparation means figuring out what skills to master, figuring out the marketing, the branding, what area you're going to go into based on your strengths, and going all in and being obsessed versus having 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Every time I've had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or not been all in, it bites me in the butt, and I end up being mediocre in that and losing money or not doing well. So you just got to be all in.
Step 4.
So step 4, once you so for me, I was broke and I finally started making money with this blueprint, but I still was working 80 hours a week. That was the problem. So I finally had results, but I was working 60, 70, 80 hours. So now I'm like, geez, I have money, but I can't spend it. I can't do anything because I'm working all the time. So I had to create consistency, and I had to create rituals. So the next step is consistent energy and inner drive to keep pushing forward to make sure you build momentum. Because here's the scary thing. The two things on earth that I think are the scariest in life and business, and tell me if you agree, I don't know if you've experienced both these. One is momentum. That can do amazing things for your bank account, for your business, for your influence. And the second thing is lack of momentum. When you have no momentum, it's like pushing a boulder up a hill, right? It's really hard to do. So consistent energy and motivation is what kept me going. So step 4 is really focusing on maximizing your competitive advantage. What's that? Being as healthy as possible. Watching what you put in your body, watching what you put in your mind, understanding what emotions drive you and what emotions tear you down, and making sure that you have the right state of mind and you have emotional intelligence. So you can start making decisions based off intelligence versus emotion. Almost all my decisions were made based off emotion, my gut, and things that maybe my fear or insecurities or past results. I started making decisions based off intelligence and based off logic, because those who only do what they feel like don't do very much. Most people make all their decisions based on how they feel. They don't feel like working out, they don't do it. They don't feel like reading, they don't do it. They don't feel like going to this podcast, they don't do it. They don't feel like going to something, they don't do it. And what happens is you find them stressed, broken, struggling like I was. You have to make a definite decision, and whether you feel like it or not, take action, because how are you going to feel afterwards? Amazing. Have you ever done something where you didn't feel like doing it, but you forced yourself to do it, and then afterwards you felt amazing?
Sure. The more you achieve the important stuff, especially in the morning, you feel way more less stressed later.
Yeah, and you have the right state of mind to keep taking action. So that's the next one. And that's a shorter version, of course. The rest is in my book. But 5 is create result rituals. So now I had to figure out what systems to put in place, what 10 or 20% of my activities yielded 80% of my results. And I created result rituals and I created profit producing activities to where I knew that I had to do these things every week, regardless if I was there or not, regardless if I was sick or not, regardless if I felt like it or not. I put result rituals in play, and I hired a dream team that was good at what I wasn't, and I focused only on my strengths, which I only know from 2 things. 1, my past experience the last couple months, and 2, my mentors telling me what I need to look for and giving me anticipation. So once you have rituals in place, then you can move on to, and rituals will get you the lifestyle you want because you're systemizing your business and you're using leverage to create more free time. And I started focusing on doing things that gave me more free time in the future versus things that just moved my business forward or kept it going, right? And the last thing is consistent growth and learning. Sustained greatness is what I call it. So you have to continue reaching new heights. You have to continue being a people developer. You have to continue investing in 4 things that I think our society doesn't understand. And I want to change this. I mean, I know you do too. Most people, they're so addicted to 2 things: saving money or spending it on pointless stuff like material things or things that have no relevance to helping them advance. Here's what millionaires and 7- and 8-figure earners spend money on. This is years of research and being around a lot of millionaires. They spend money on 4 things, and sadly, most of society doesn't spend it on any of these. So after step 6, you got to spend your money on back into yourself, investing into yourself, whether it's books or seminars or programs, getting into academies, right? Things like that. Second is investing it back into your business on branding, on marketing, on building a team, things like that. Third, once you start making money, then you need to invest in things that make money work for you. Multifamily homes, duplexes, investment properties, be an angel investor, invest in memberships, startups, things like that. And then once you get those going, then you invest in memorable experiences. And if you can do that, it will give you the motivation needed to get to a whole new level of results. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you take those steps, if you get clear, you find the people that have already done it, you stay consistent, you maximize your health and your emotional intelligence, you get your rituals in place, and you keep reaching for new heights, that's how you get to the next level. And that's really the blueprint I've created that I've used for the last 6, 7, 8 years.
What's the Game Changers Academy?
So it's the premier networking community for entrepreneurs and for people wanting to elevate their game and become the best at what they do. So we created an academy that was an invite-only academy, and we wanted to get the best of the best entrepreneurs who can relate to each other. A lot of people feel like their mindset and their intelligence isn't matching their bank account, or they feel like they're working so hard but they're not getting results, or they feel so out of place because no one can relate to them, right? So this is an academy to kind of help them, guide them, help them create consistent income, help them take their network and their intelligence to a whole new level, and help them make more money and become the best at what they do. So we have guest speakers like Ariana Huffington and Brian Tracy and Gary Vaynerchuk and Eric Thomas and Grant Cardone. Every month we have live masterminds, and we have a private Facebook group and stuff like that. So it's just an academy for entrepreneurs.
So it's a membership site, how it works, how much it costs?
Yeah, so there's different levels. So if they go to gamechangersmovement.com, and this is really anybody that's serious. It's not for everybody. You have to be urgent. You have to be willing to learn. And we have a lot of 6-figure earners that are 20, 21 years old. So you have to be willing to learn from people younger than you, right? If they're making $500,000 and they're 22 years old and you're 35 and you're not, it doesn't mean they're better than you. It just means they might have a skill or an expertise that you need to get more leverage in your business. So it ranges honestly from $47 to $1,200 depending on the level. There's the platinum level, there's the elite level, and then there's the basic level as well. So people can apply, by the way, and if they say they're part of your interview, I will try and personally reach out and help them as well, because I love helping entrepreneurs. Obviously my time's limited, but people that are dedicated to themselves, to personal growth, to your great show, I will give them time. So if they go to gamechangersmovement.com, they can apply for the platinum level, or they can try out the basic, depending on what level they're at.
How much you charge for one-on-one coaching?
There's no amount of money anymore. I can't do it. It's too tough. I'm really focused on scaling and building a legacy. And I can't help 8 billion people if I help one at a time. So, I mean, I've done it before, but it's really hard to do now. And if it's the right person and it's someone that has massive hunger and ambition and they have the opportunity to be a game changer and to be the best at what they do, I might consider. But I love working with people that have the DNA of a game changer, that just want to be the best. They want to focus on a legacy. So that has to be a separate conversation, maybe in an email.
What's real VIP success?
So that is a website, a portal for entrepreneurs just to help them thrive. So we're actually redoing it. We're going to, all young entrepreneurs who have a voice or want to contribute to other entrepreneurs, they can write for that. So it's just a portal. It's kind of like the Huffington Post for entrepreneurs. There's just articles and interviews and content on how to help entrepreneurs thrive and giving them resources to live their best lives. So we try to help up and coming entrepreneurs.
Your top 3 mentors.
Right now or back in the day, or the ones that have helped me, or give me some context?
Top 3 mentors of all time.
Good question. I think Gary Vaynerchuk has helped me early on in my career. We've had some deep one-on-one conversations, and he's really helped me get real on who I was, how to reverse engineer, and how to become the best at what I do. Grant Cardone is another one, if you've heard of him or not. He's really helped me think bigger, how to scale my business, how to really get more attention, how to not fear people. And 3, it's a mix between Jordan Weirs and Isaac Tolpin, who are my early on mentors that really helped me take my thinking to a whole new level and shift my focus. And really they taught me how to take very, very few opinions and to be very strategic and think everything through. So I don't know if they're not well known as far as not many people would hear of them, but they've made a tremendous impact. So it's Jordan Weirs, W-I-R-S-D, and then Isaac Tolpin as well. So those are the 3 to 4 that have really made a big impact these last 10 years.
Top 3 favorite books.
Ooh, I have them right behind me. Number 1, I think, is The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. Have you heard of that book?
No. I heard, awesome. But I never read it, yeah.
Yeah, who I've interviewed. He's amazing, amazing book. It just teaches people how to make money and build a legacy the fast way. He talks about how most people want the slow lane where they work 40 hours a week for 40 years and finally they retire and make some money and they're spending it when they're 60. Nothing wrong with that, but he tells people how to do it the new way. There's the new rich, there's the new millennials, there's the new entrepreneur, then there's the traditional way, and he kind of breaks that mold and breaks all these myths. Number 2, Linchpin by Seth Godin made a huge impact on me. It teaches you how to differentiate yourself and how to be a linchpin and how to become irreplaceable in this new economy versus be like everybody else. And number 3 is Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy, who he helped me get out of my rut. And I was reading his book every morning when I was trying to break our company record, and I was writing down my goals, and every single thing that he said in this book resonated with me as far as how to maximize your mindset, and every fear you have or every limitation you have is only in your mind. So he really helped me wipe out limitations. And that's really my 3 favorites. Can I say mine too, or is that...
Sure. I want to ask you about the book. Like, what's writing for entrepreneur.com added to you versus writing your own book, 2 books added to you?
So, well, it's helped me scale my influence and help more people and help millions of people. And I wanted to create a blueprint that was no BS, no academic theories, no fluff, an actual blueprint where I could give this to somebody that has no clue what's going on, and they can make 6 figures as long as they take the action and execute. So I like it because I self-publish, it's mine. I got out what I wanted to say based on my experience, and actually when it was already done, Ahmed, I went through for a week extra and I took out every single thing that I thought was fluff or BS. Like if I felt like it wasn't actionable, I was like, yeah, that's too fluffy. So I took it out. So it's literally pure content. And it's from 11 or 12 years of me being in the trenches and simplifying everything I've learned into 6 steps. And I deep dive into each. I give my actual emails and stuff like that. I give my resources just because I wanted to give it all away.
You wrote 2 books or 2 books, right?
Yeah, I have.
Which one you like more?
Oh, that's a tough one. They're so different. This one is a 6 months to 6 figures blueprint. The other one's my 30 most powerful lessons I've ever learned in entrepreneurship. So I recommend reading both, but the new one just released on Audible. So if they go to 6 figures audio.com, they can check it out. And if they email me the receipt, I'll do this for you, the receipt at business@realvipsuccess.com, I will give them a game-changing interview I did with Grant Cardone about productivity, and a game-changing interview I did with John Lee Dumas, and then my productivity excellence blueprint that I use with all my businesses. So if they email the receipt to me at business@realvipsuccess.com, can you link that below? I will give them those resources. But yeah, they're different. That's the main
What's the number one marketing strategy that helped you marketing the book?
Good question. So I think number one was writing a good book that shifted someone's state of mind daily. So I created a book that was a movement that actually moved people to take action daily, and they share it with other people. So really the marketing strategy was, yes, writing a good book, but B, I think it was sending it to a lot of influencers. So I sent it to like 30 or 40 of the most influential people I know, and a lot of them reached back out. They bought bulk copies, they shared it, they promoted it, they tweeted it. So just giving it to the people that actually have influence and let them promote it if they like it was a good strategy as well. So that's one of my favorites. And of course, we did a marketing strategy online too, but I'm not sure which one worked the best, to be honest. My team did it.
Last question, I know you don't have time. What makes you really happy?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's shifted the last couple of years. It used to be results and money and traveling and first class, driving nice cars. Now I think what makes me happy is being around world-class people and being an amazing husband, being an amazing brother, being an amazing son, an amazing dad. I don't have kids yet, a couple more years. But just being an amazing world-class human being. There's nothing that's more motivating for me than being around pleasant people that have character and integrity and are just world-class overall. I know people that are world-class entrepreneurs but shitty dads. I'm not joking. And they're world-class parents but really bad at creating money for their family or entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
There's no balance. So I think just living life on my terms, knowing I'm being the best I can and being around other world-class people, there's no better feeling than that. Knowing that I'm giving my all and I'm building a legacy based off something that's outside myself, which is helping others. So it's not about me anymore. It's about helping other people and things like that. So that's really what makes me happy, man, is just seeing my message spread and helping people that didn't have hope before and giving them hope and knowing that I'm living a world-class life and helping others do the same. That's a loaded answer. Sorry about that.
Thank you so much for your time, Peter. Really, I appreciate your time, and I can feel the energy from here, from Dubai. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, man. Thanks for all you do as well. Let me know if you need anything, and let me know when it comes out, and I'll help you promote it.
Sure. Thanks, everyone. Be efficient and stay efficient, and see you soon with another leading expert.